Shalom, this is Rabbi Mark Hillel Kunis, and my taste of Torah for Parshat Shoftim, 5780. Today is Rosh Chodesh Elul, the beginning of the month before Rosh Hashanah. And it's no small coincidence that the first Torah portion we read in Elul is Shoftim, which begins Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha, judges and police officers lecha, you shall appoint. The Kotzker Rebbe and the Sfas Emes and other commentators take special note that the word lecha, you, in this verse, is in the singular, while Moses was relaying this commandment to appoint judges to the entire people. They explain that this teaches that each of us should judge and police ourselves, trying to keep ourselves on the right track. After all, isn't this what we're supposed to be doing this month as we prepare for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? Judge and police ourselves. Does this mean, however, that we shouldn't judge others? After all, imitatio Dei, imitating God, is a major principle in Judaism. If God clothes the naked, as he did for Adam and Eve as they left the Garden of Eden, shouldn't we help the poor with clothes and with shelter? If God buries the dead, as he did for Moses, shouldn't we display chesed shel emet, eternal kindness for the dead? However, there's another side of imitating God. If God judges and punishes people, shouldn't we? Shouldn't it be okay for us to do the same? Let's take it a bit further. The Torah says that God takes revenge. Shouldn't it then be okay for us to take revenge? However, the Torah specifically commands us, lo tikom v'lo titor. You shall not take revenge. You shall not bear a grudge. And how many times does it say in the Torah and the rest of the Bible that God behaves as if he's angry? Why can't we behave with anger if God does? Clearly, God never meant for us to imitate him in this way. And so the sages teach us that this mitzvah of imitating God is given to us so that we will do acts of chesed, of love and kindness and compassion, not to judge others, not to take revenge, not to be angry. So the message of this juxtaposition of the Torah reading of Shoftim as the first Torah portion in the month of Elul before Rosh Hashanah is, don't judge others. It's not your place. It's not your position. It's not your role in the world to behave as a judge. If you're a judge in court, a teacher, a parent, it may be part of your job. But otherwise, who asked you? You may not like someone or what they do, but why judge them? How will it benefit you? It will only eat away at you and bring you down. You know the old joke about the two litigators who came before the rabbi. The first one comes in and explains his side of the story. The rabbi looks at him and says, "You're right." He goes out, the other one comes in and tells his side of the story. And after listening, the rabbi says, "You're right." And he goes out. And the rabbi's assistant, who's sitting there and listening to all this, asks politely, "Excuse me for asking this, honored rabbi, but how can they both be right?" So the rabbi thinks for a moment and he says, "You're also right. That's the joke. But it's not a joke. No two people live in the same world. You see the world through your eyes, and your neighbor sees the world through his or her eyes. Why look askance at someone else? Why let someone else's behavior eat you up?" This is especially important in family relationships. In non-COVID times, hopefully we'll get through this soon, if a close family member who lives out of town is invited to a simcha of yours, a wedding or a bar mitzvah, and declines the invitation, don't get angry at them. You don't know their business. Maybe they can't afford to come and are too embarrassed to tell you. When your children marry and you feel your child's in-laws is not as generous to the couple as you are, do you want to walk around angry and aggravated? Do you want to make life tough? Judge them. Get angry. Do you want to be aggravated and angry? Start judging. And if judging doesn't make you aggravated enough when your spouse does something to upset you, just to make sure both of you will be miserable, punish your spouse by withholding your affections for a few days, giving him or her the silent treatment instead of just talking it out. Now you've shown him or her, but you've damaged your relationship with your childish behavior. Don't be a punisher. Only God punishes. Do you want to be happy? Choose to be happy. Avoid judging others. Do you need to judge? Judge yourself. After all, this is what we're supposed to do this month as we prepare for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Judging and policing ourselves, as the beginning of our Torah portion tells us. Have a great Shabbos.